We're starting off with Ricochet, who as of late has been teasing a heel turn, and fans have been making their feelings known about the one and only, and they're literally not holding back. During the latest Collision, toilet paper was thrown into the ring before his match with Will Ospreay, and though Ricochet won 3 points in the Continental Classic, this was hardly a warm reception. During the taping for the Christmas Day edition of Dynamite, Ricochet was once again on the receiving end of a TP parade as he made his way to the ring to face Darby Allin. Not only that, but fans chanted Ricochet at the former WWE Speed Champion, and as the taping continued, more toilet paper rolls were sent Ricochet's way. The high flyer was certainly unimpressed and grabbed one of the rolls and hurled it back into the crowd, an act that only seemed to fuel the crowd's rowdiness. Ricochet seems to be turning into a natural heel in AEW judging by these fan responses, and while we'll see if this leads to bigger opportunities, the one and only certainly has attention. Over to WWE, as Bronson Reed was supposed to face Seth Rollins at this week's Boxing Day show at Madison Square Garden, but due to Reed's injury, that won't be happening. Now, the world's most famous arena has shared that instead, Rollins will take on Dominic Mysterio in what'll be a meeting of two of Raw's biggest personalities in New York City. As for Reed, it's believed he'll be out of action until after WrestleMania, and what do you make of this replacement match in the Garden? Let us know down in the comments. This week, AEW taped its Christmas Day edition of Dynamite, and while spoilers are out there, we won't be reviewing the show's matches or segments at this time. What we will report, though, is that at the company's taping of their Christmas Day Dynamite on 34th Street show, fans saw none other than the return of Taz to the commentary desk. It was fitting that Taz returned in the Hammerstein Ballroom, once home to several major ECW shows, and Taz kicked off a double taping as the night also saw Rampage be filmed. Taz had been away following an attack shortly before the 5th anniversary of Dynamite, and it was the patriarchy who laid out the human suplex machine. In reality, Taz needed time off to have knee replacement surgery, and where do you see AEW taking this angle now that Taz is back? Give your predictions in the comments section. At ROH Final Battle, Bandito made his long-awaited return to TV after 18 months out of action, and his return came after a series of vignettes teasing his return. After Chris Jericho retained the ROH World title against Matt Cardona, Bandito arrived to save Matt from a 3-on-1 beatdown that included Jericho, Big Bill, and Brian Keith. Unfortunately, things ended on a sour note as, according to the Wrestling Observer Daily Update, Bandito suffered a concussion during the post-match segment. This concussion occurred when Bandito landed on the back of his head following a missile dropkick, and this setback is just the latest for the talented wrestler. A severe wrist injury that required 2 surgeries had sidelined Bandito since June 2023, with his most recent match being with Konosuke Takeshita on Rampage that same month. While Jericho vs. Bandito was being set up for an eventual ROH World title match, the report adds that the concussion recovery times are unpredictable, leaving this match in question. We'd like to send our best wishes to Bandito as he recovers from this latest injury, and hopefully it won't be much longer until he's 100% and back in the ring. What do you make of Bandito's return and injury? Will the Jericho feud pick up momentum once he's back, or should ROH higher-ups chart a different path? Let us know down below. In a matter of days, WWE Raw will arrive on Netflix in the biggest change to the Red brand possibly ever, but there's still a lot of questions left to be answered. Both fans and talent have been left in the dark about what this new era will look like, with questions being raised about how long the show will be. For months, Raw has been a 2-hour show as part of WWE's temporary extension with USA Network, which was launched as their original deal ended in October of this year. Fightful Select reports that as of the final Raw before Christmas, talent hadn't been given concrete info about how long the show would be on Netflix or if it'll stick to 2 hours. Sources told Fightful that Netflix has no handouts and it appears there will be plenty of flexibility, but talent are eager to know if it'll be a 2-hour or 3-hour show. For SmackDown, it's been confirmed that the show will add a 3rd hour in 2025, so many are wondering if Raw will follow suit, something talent will muse over during the holiday break. Raw's move to Netflix is historic, but there's so many questions still unanswered, but what we know for sure is fans can expect a stacked show when Raw debuts on January 6th. While it's still unclear whether Raw will be 2 or 3 hours long in 2025, Netflix has provided some crucial information about the Red brand's future on streaming. For example, once Monday Night Raw moves to Netflix, it'll become WWE Raw and air on the platform each week, so fans don't think they'll miss the show if they're not around on Mondays. In Netflix's guide to WWE content on their platform, it was shared that select WWE Archival content will be rolled out in the US in January, with Raw Archival content in the US. There's no word on which content will be available from launch, but the guide adds that episodes of Raw will be available to rewatch immediately after the show ends. For fans wanting to download an episode of Raw, they'll have to wait roughly 48 hours after a show airs before they can keep a copy of the episode. The guide also reiterated that the ability to watch PLEs on Netflix won't be the case if you're in the US, as only international fans will receive Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and PLEs together. Raw on Netflix marks the start of a new era for the brand on streaming, and WWE is counting on their multi-billion-dollar deal being worth it for its longest-running show. As for whether it'll be worth it, only time will tell, but both WWE and Netflix won't hold back when trying to make Raw on Netflix a runaway success. But what do you think about what the guide has said? Are you disappointed PLEs won't be viewable on Netflix for those in the US? Share your thoughts on this major plan down below. Throughout wrestling's history, celebrity involvement has been a staple of the industry, and this year, AEW has been teaming up with the popular Costco guys. Bringing in the viral family has split fans, with some in favor and some fans have been dead against seeing Big Boom AJ in the ring, and now Joey Janela has shared his 2 cents. On Twitter, Janela said that the Costco guys are more over and more well-known than 90% of wrestlers, and spoke of their popularity while never taking a Canadian destroyer. In a follow-up, Janela said that if you asked a civilian whether they'd want a photo with the Costco guys or Roman Reigns, the vast majority, an estimated 70%, would pick the TikTokers. Janela suggested that Tony Khan should book MJF versus AJ for when AEW programming arrives on Max, and said doing so would ensure the ratings go boom. There's no doubt that the Costco guys have a huge social media presence, though Reigns has been a known name for longer than Big Boom AJ, Big Justice, or the Rizzler. But what do you think? Is what Janela is saying true, or is he underestimating the drawing power wrestling has in 2024? Let us know down below. Right now, Shinsuke Nakamura is riding high in WWE as the United States Champion, but next week, the WWE Superstar will be in action outside of the promotion. The King of Strong Style will be part of Pro Wrestling Noah's New Year's show on January 1st, where he'll face Ulka Sasaki in the iconic Nippon Budokan in Tokyo. This week, Noah shared their excitement on social media with a video of Nakamura arriving back in Japan, saying that the US champion has returned home in triumph. The match will be Nakamura's return to the promotion following his groundbreaking appearance in 2023, where he took on the Great Muta at that year's New Year event. At the time, Nakamura was the only active WWE superstar to compete in Noah, though AJ Styles, Josh Briggs, and Tavion Heights have all made their way to Noah in 2024. This only solidifies the partnership between Noah and WWE, and with English commentary available, fans around the world will get the chance to see Nakamura's next non-WWE match. What do you think about Shinsuke Nakamura's ongoing involvement with Pro Wrestling Noah? Please share your thoughts and feedback in the comments section below. As of late, the relationship between AEW and GCW has been tense to say the least, especially after Tony Khan pulled Ricky Starks from GCW shows despite not using him on TV. As of late, Khan has been using the Hammerstein Ballroom for shows, a venue GCW will use next month, which led to an interesting move last weekend by Brett Lauderdale. The GCW founder was in New York during ROH Final Battle and was seen promoting his The People vs. GCW show, including handing out flyers for the show outside the ballroom. The People vs. GCW will take place in the Big Apple on January 19th, and Lauderdale's strategy to promote his show at ROH Final Battle was certainly a bold one. But what do you make of this tactic? Was it disrespectful by Lauderdale, or is all fair in love and wrestling? Would you do the same if you were in his shoes? Let us know in the comments. Football news now, as Seth Rollins is a known fan of the Chicago Bears, and this week the Visionary took in a game against the Detroit Lions alongside his wife, Becky Lynch. Lynch can be spotted alongside Rollins as the former Universal Champion met Bears legend Julius Peppers, and this video comes at an interesting time for the wrestling power couple. Rollins will have his long-awaited showdown with CM Punk during Raw's debut on Netflix, while speculation continues to grow that Lynch could be back in WWE sooner than later. Lynch's final match before her contract expired saw her lose a cage match to Women's World Champion Liv Morgan, who will defend against Rhea Ripley during next month's show. It was also recently stated that Lynch is the betting favorite to win the Women's Royal Rumble match, with reports adding that she could be back for Raw's debut on Netflix. Whatever the future holds, Lynch and Rollins seem to have had a great time this past weekend, and could we be seeing more of them together, namely on WWE TV? Time will tell. At Saturday night's main event, Liv Morgan put the Women's World title on the line and retained against Io Sky, despite a valiant effort by the challenger. During the match, Sky hit a knee lift that struck Morgan on the nose, causing the champion to bleed, but Liv persevered and finished the contest. On his Experience podcast, Jim Cornette criticized Sky for the careless move, which he feels would have led to talks in the locker rooms during a previous era in wrestling. He explained, "Did you see a slow-mo of the knee lift? I thought you'd been telling me, oh, Io Sky is so good, she's such a good wrestler, she's good, she has good matches. She knee lifted Liv Morgan right in the face and nose for no reason. Liv was on her knees, she wasn't moving, and Io Sky just grabs her arm and knee lifts her right in the face. Just careless. See, in the old days, there would have been more discussion about that in the locker room, because that was so blatantly unnecessary." There had been concerns that Morgan suffered a broken nose, but Fightful Select has reported that the champ had a lucky escape with no fractures to her nose. After the match, Morgan was confronted by Rhea Ripley, who will challenge Liv on Raw's Netflix debut, and after recovering from her own face injury, Ripley is ready to take it to the champ. Do you agree with Cornette that Sky's knee strike was unnecessary? What sort of discussions backstage would you be having about the spot? Share your thoughts and feedback down below. In 2021, AEW Rampage launched to much fanfare with an Impact World title change in its first week, followed by the massive debut of CM Punk during its first dance. Since then, though, the show has continued to grow less and less relevant, and now fans have seen the last of AEW Rampage, at least for the time being. During the taping of next week's Dynamite and Rampage, Tony Khan shared that the Rampage taping would be the last of its kind for the foreseeable future. Speculation rose that Rampage's days were numbered when it was reported that AEW's new deal with Warner Bros. Discovery covered Dynamite and Collision, but not the Friday show. 2025 will go ahead for AEW without Rampage, and another massive change fans can expect is for the company to use smaller, more intimate venues going forward. Speaking with Josh Martinez of Z100, Chris Jericho spoke of the cardinal sin in wrestling being the company that either overprices itself or overexerts itself with venues that are too big. Either one results in a ton of unsold seats, and Jericho added that smaller, intimate venues also create a better vibe for the crowd in attendance. Jericho also spoke of AEW needing to maintain a cool factor by ensuring scarcity, as having smaller venues and fewer seats will, in theory, make fans more eager not to miss out. Fans are already seeing the effect of this strategy, with the Hammerstein Ballroom events proving to be a hit with fans, despite it being a smaller venue than AEW's usual hosts. For years, we've seen photos of entire sections of empty seats at AEW shows, which the company's production team cleverly avoids showing during AEW broadcasts. But what do you think of Rampage's news and the move to smaller venues? Is it a smart business move or a sign that AEW isn't as hot as it once was? Let us know down below. Now, El Phantasmo has been one of New Japan's most entertaining stars in recent years and has competed in AEW as well, including at this year's Forbidden Door. On that night, Phantasmo failed to capture the vacant AEW TNT Championship, but as of late, he's been facing a far more serious battle in his personal life. In October, Phantasmo shared that doctors had found a little tumor of cancer, which has kept him out of the ring ever since, but now the popular star is back in the ring. During a recent New Japan event, Phantasmo made a surprise return and earned a massive pop in the process, and it's been confirmed that he'll compete for the TV title at Wrestle Kingdom. It's great that Phantasmo is able to compete again, and it bodes well for his health, and we're wishing him a full recovery given his recent battle with cancer. Now, WWE frequently pays homage to its rich history while appealing to a new generation of fans through nostalgia. This was evident when the company brought back the iconic Winged Eagle Championship during Saturday night's main event. Now, the reason behind its return has been revealed. According to Andrew Zarian on Twitter, a key factor driving WWE's decision to reintroduce the Winged Eagle Championship was merchandise sales, particularly the popularity of replica title belts. Over the past 5 years, the exponential growth in replica belt sales played a significant role in the company's choice to revive the title. The Winged Eagle Championship, which originally held a prominent place in WWE from 1988 to 1998, had been a fan favorite for decades. Cody Rhodes in particular had been lobbying for its return for quite some time. As a result, its comeback was a monumental moment not just for Rhodes, but for the WWE fan base as well. What are your thoughts on the return of the Winged Eagle Championship? Do you want it to become a permanent fixture in WWE? Please share your thoughts and feedback in the comments section below. And we are ending with WWE, who in 2008 introduced a new version of the ECW World Championship following Mark Henry's win that year, but this was not the only ECW title the company had created. This week, the WWE Vault YouTube channel revealed a never-before-seen version of the ECW Championship, which was seemingly set to debut back in 2007 or 2008. The nameplate on the title is for CM Punk, who held the title from September 2007 to January 2008, but for an unexplained reason, this hidden design never made it to TV. It's possible that WWE opted not to have Punk replace the original ECW title design, as having a face get rid of a title with a lot of nostalgia and love from fans attached would have been a bad move. In the video, it was said that the title wasn't necessarily received the way the creators of the Gold wanted it to be received, but it was unclear who ultimately pulled the plug on this redesign. Whatever the reason, this title never made it to air, and the title introduced in Henry's reign would remain with the brand until its end in February 2010. Do you wish CM Punk would have used the title design revealed this week, or was WWE wise to keep the original design during Punk's run with the Gold? Let us know in the comments.